All right, welcome everybody. Come on in. Hopefully everything sounds good. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Awesome. I'm gonna get my screen back up. Sorry about the technical difficulties there. For a moment I couldn't get logged in. I think we are all good now. All right, and for some reason my PowerPoint seems to be a little too big for the screen. Hey everybody, come on in. Everybody say hi to us. Let us know you're here. Let me see if I can get my PowerPoint to look right again. Whoops. Come on in, make yourself at home. Got some good stuff for you today. I'm just need to get my PowerPoint doing the right thing. Browsed in a window. And we're just about to get started here. All right, let me try this. For some reason, it still looks a little too big. Let's try this. Is that showing up on your screen, sweetie?
Yeah, but it's cut off.
It is cut off, huh? All right. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, why it's cutting off my PowerPoint here, guys. I want to make sure that you can see everything on my screen. And that's not doing it. Let me stop screen sharing there. I apologize. Isn't it wonderful? Technical difficulties. We love this stuff. Yeah, for some reason it's coming up cut off each time.
I don't have that on mine either.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and proceed, and hopefully, I'm pretty sure that everything that you need to see is going to be in that that little area right there. Most everything is up and to the left side of the slide there, so hopefully that will be everything that you need. And anything you can't see, I'll read to you. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to Six Figure Coaching Secrets, the secrets of running your own successful practice. My name is Michael Stevenson. I'm a certified master coach and a trainer of coaching and NLP, and I'm really excited to be here with you tonight to share this with you. You know, if you'd asked me 15 years ago what I'd be doing with my life 15 years later, I don't think that I would have, by any stretch of the imagination, thought that I would be where I am today. You know, 16 years ago, I was a computer programmer. I was making a lot of money, but I was quite miserable in my life. I didn't like what I did. I didn't like who I did it with. I wasn't passionate about my job. I was working in a cubicle, you know, 5 days a week, working extra hours, and sort of doing the daily grind, which is, of course, what most people do. And I think a lot of people believe that that's the only way to live life. Kayla and I were actually just talking about this. If you don't know Kayla, my wife, she runs basically all the time when you guys chat with live support, and when you email in, Kayla's always your first point of contact because she gets stuff done. And Kayla and I were talking about it the other night about how sad it is to us that there are people that think that that's the only way to live life. That life is just it's just what you're handed, and there's nothing you can do about it. And there was this question that was posted to Facebook the other day. And the person said, what is the most common thing that you hear from disempowered people? And my answer was a real simple one because we hear it so often, and we hear this one quite a bit because Kayla and I are pretty public about our lives. We really enjoy our lives. We love what we do. We travel around the world. We meet all kinds of great new people. We're blessed with some of the best friends and the best family in the world. And when people see that, oftentimes they say, "You're so lucky." And yep, Gail, we've started. To me, it's interesting because I think that phrase, "you're so lucky," what it means is that most people, I think, believe that the world or that the universe is just like a roll of the dice. When you're born, the dice are rolled for you, and whatever comes up is your number, and you're just going to have to deal with it for the rest of your life. So I often talk to people who, for instance, they go and they spend all this time to go to college and all this money to go to college, and then I'll ask them, well, what do you do for a living? And their job actually has nothing to do with what they actually majored in. Why? Because they just went with the first job that came up, right? The first place that would hire them. And, a lot of times, guys, if you're getting any kind of gargled audio or anything like that, you might want to refresh the screen or refresh your connection. If there's a connection issue between you and Google, it'll obviously, might be a little bit of a problem there. So, as RJ's saying, if you have no audio or no video, hit refresh. Obviously, if you have an audio, you won't be able to hear me. So Kayla and I were talking about it the other day, and we're thinking about, wouldn't it be nice if we could empower people? We know so many people who work day jobs, and all they do is complain about money all the time, how they're short on money and they don't have any money and they wish they had money, and if I only had money I could do this. And most of these people never even stop to think that, hey, maybe you could start something on the side. Maybe instead of sitting on the couch and watching TV 4 hours, or not sit on the couch, but do something to enjoy for 4 hours a night, make a little extra money on the side, and start to move your life in a different direction. And, I think it's a really important thing is to realize that, we all have time in our life. We all have time in our life that we could do something different. And it doesn't take a lot. Just like you take a locomotive train, can be how many hundreds of... It doesn't take a lot to change the direction of the train. All you have to do is throw a little switch. That little switch will change the track and start moving you in the new direction. And so that's what this is really about. Coaching to me is, I think, one of the most... it's one of the things I feel most privileged to do. Because not only do I really enjoy it, but I get to see the results of my work. I really get to enjoy the results of my work because I get to see... Oh, and you know what, guys? Hang on one second. I think I know what's going on. If anybody else is getting echo, I think I have to there we go. All right. Good. So I think it's really important... Oh, Kayla, do you have your microphone on?
Yeah.
You might want to mute. I'll close the door. There we go. That'll probably take care of any echo. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So, coaching is, I think, one of the best privileges for me because I get to work with people one-on-one. I really love people. I love to interact with people, and I love to share. I'm one of those kind of people. I'm always learning, and I love to share what I learn with other people. And then the beautiful part about it is you get to see the fruit of your labor. You get to see your results. And there are very few fields, I think, where you get to see those results in such a way that it actually changes another person's life. It actually changes a person's life. So let's talk about what I'm going to share tonight. Number one, I'm going to share, or number four, actually, we're going to go in descending order here. I'm going to share the secret to getting your successful coaching practice up and running. Number three, I'm going to share 5 ways that you can make a living as a success or a life coach. I'm also going to show 5 ways that you can find leads that convert to clients and raving fans. And then finally, the last one, number 1, I have a very special gift for you that is valued at $100. And this is a real value gift, by the way. This is something that we actually sell on the website for $100. But you must stay until the end of the webinar to get it. Looks like we're still cutting off here. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna exit this PowerPoint. I'm gonna try to change the shape of the screen, and hopefully that helps. What's up, sweetie?
That's what I was gonna play.
Yeah. I don't know why. My desktop computer actually just crashed a few days ago, and I normally do these for my desktop computer. And this is the first time we're doing it from my laptop, and clearly it's not quite as effective on the laptop. So let's go ahead and start this up again, and hopefully now I'll be able to share my screen with you, and you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Whoops. And I apologize. I didn't think that we would have issues with using my laptop here like this. Not sure exactly what the challenge is, but for some reason we are still not getting that whole screen on there, huh? Let me try to connect it one more time. Yep. Sorry about that, guys. So I will read to you what's on the screen and share with you the whole way. So stick around until the end, and I have a special $100 gift that I will be giving you at the very end of the webinar, and I know you're going to love it. All right, so now is the perfect time for a quantum leap in your business and your life, and so I want to talk about why that is. Number one, it is now easier than ever to get started in the coaching field. You know, years and years and years ago, it took tons of schooling, and it took a lot of effort to become a coach. Next, having your own successful practice can be incredibly lucrative. It's amazing these days. You know, there are so many people who are looking for coaching now, and there's so many coaches who, unfortunately, they just don't know how to market themselves. And so, you know, there's actually a big opening right now, I believe, for coaching. Next, becoming a visible certified coach will cause potential clients, we'll talk about that. And coaching requires one of the smallest investments of both time and money of any six-figure capable plus business. Really, when you start thinking about all the, you know, six-figure capable businesses that you can own, anything that you can make more than six figures at often requires a huge investment of not only money but also time. And you know, one of the things I love about the helping professions like coaching or like is that you can learn so much through accelerated learning techniques and through layered learning and all of these kinds of things that you can actually walk out in a very short amount of time an expert, and you can have a model. And actually, I specialize in something called neurolinguistic programming, which is all about modeling. It's about finding something that is successful and then taking that model, and rather than having to go through all the education and all of the experience and all the steps that it took for the person to create that model, we just take the model and then teach it to others. Of course, if you've ever heard of the field of neurolinguistic programming, it's been very successful because of that. Next, coaching allows you to do something you probably love as much as I do, which is helping people and getting paid for it. And you know, I can remember ever since I was, you know, probably 7, maybe 8 years old. I remember people asking me, you know, what do you want to do when you grow up? And you know, that my answer was always something like, I want to be a police officer, or I want to be a fireman, or I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer. I remember, and probably, you know, if you ask most 7-year-olds don't say, I want to grow up and be a computer programmer. I want to grow up and be a TPS report runner. I want to grow up and be, you know, a plumber. All the plumbers help people, but you know, if you ask most 7-year-olds, most 8-year-olds, what do you want to do for a living? It's almost always something that's in a place of service. And then somewhere along the line, between 7 years old and when we grow up, we end up falling into jobs that we're dispassionate about. And by the way, there are some people who are passionate about computer programming. I wasn't. And so I don't believe that computer programming was right for me. I had an aptitude for it, but I wasn't passionate about it. And but there are other people who are passionate about it, and that's probably the right career choice for them. Passionate about helping people, but I never saw an avenue to doing it. When I was a teenager, I was extremely ADHD. I struggled through high school. I barely squeaked by. when it came time to look at being a doctor or a lawyer, like just looking at all the extra years of school that I, would have to go through to do that, to get those degrees, and then I just wasn't interested in that at the time. And so I ended up getting into a job that had nothing to do with people. I sat in a cubicle and I just typed on a computer all day long. And unfortunately, just really for years felt that with people. So when I finally fell into, neurolinguistic programming and being a coach, I finally found that avenue for me where I actually got to do something meaningful in my life, where I got to help people and get paid for it. It helps you overcome what I call the passion paradox. Unfortunately, there's this limiting belief out there that says that if you're passionate about what you do, you should do it for free. And there's a lot of people out there that think that if you're a person who helps people, that you shouldn't charge them, or you shouldn't charge them a lot. But see, there's a paradox here. Because if all of the people in the world who had the ability to lead, who had the ability to heal, who had the ability to help, didn't charge anything for what they did, every healer, every helper in the world would be living under a bridge and homeless. And everyone else in the world would be in pain. The fact is, we need healers in the world. We need helpers in the world. We need leaders in the world. And those groups of people deserve to be paid well for the things that they do. If you're doing positive things in the world, I believe you deserve to be rewarded well for those things. So it helps you overcome that passion paradox. In a matter of a few days, you'll integrate so much that you'll be regarded as an expert in your field. And ultimately, on this webinar, I'm going to show you the path to creating a career where you can be your own boss, you can manage your own time, you can work with the people you want to work with, and you can make a great living, making a real difference in your life. And that, to me, is such an important thing. I'm not sure how many of you, and I'm kind of scanning through the list. I see a lot of friends, a lot of people I'm very familiar with. And there's a lot of names on here I don't know yet. So, one of the first questions you might be asking yourself is, who is Michael Stevenson and why am I listening to this guy? So I'll give you a little bit of background about myself, and then we'll move on and talk about coaching. A lot of people see me and they see my life right now, and they wrongly assume that I was always successful, and that a lot of people make. I think a lot of times we look at somebody who's successful, and of course we say that phrase again, well, they're just lucky. If I was lucky like they were lucky, then I would have the success that they have. Or they might say something like, he probably had some education, that's not the word I'm thinking of. He probably had some privileges that I didn't get to have, or something along those lines. Most of the time, I think our society is programmed to believe that when they see somebody successful, they believe that that person got something that they didn't. So we believe that maybe they got an inheritance, or maybe you don't believe that, but in general, society tends to believe that wealthy people, for instance, they're wealthy because they started off with an initial condition, that was different. Well, I didn't start off wealthy. I didn't start off successful. And I didn't start off happy. And this is a picture of me here, old, and I wasn't very happy at that point. My mom was 14 years old when I was born, and to make matters worse, my mom actually had a vicious personality disorder called borderline personality disorder. If you ever heard of it, it's very, very difficult to live with. It's very difficult to live with somebody who's got borderline. But if you're a you have to learn, real
Hey guys, if you can hear me, Michael had another technical difficulty, so he'll be right back. So just hang tight.